So Disney, the company of children, is going to have to pay $10 million for allegedly mishandling children's data on YouTube. Pretty major turn of events. Quite an interesting turn of events. This is, of course, the family studio. Not doing anything great at the moment, but yeah, pretty crap. I thought I saw this. I was like, what? I've got to do a video on this. This is baffling to me. So let's take a look, ladies and gents. Please do hit subscribe if you're new here and do turn those bell notifications on. So this is quite crazy. Not like a huge, sort of surprise. I think, well, it's just interesting more than anything. So the Walt Disney Company is obviously another controversy. And what it is online privacy, right? So the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, has effectively accused Disney of improperly labeling YouTube videos targeted at children, which then allowed unlawful collection of personal data from aged under 13 viewers, which is, that's a really interesting accusation. It on face value, it sounds like anyone could get in hot water. But it does also sound like something that Disney would do knowingly, with intention, and something that they did on purpose, basically. So I don't know where I sit on this at the moment. So basically the result is now a $10 million settlement. And they've got a brand new compliance program, which puts Disney under regulatory scrutiny for years to come, which is pretty mad. It's pretty mad. So what the FTC accused Disney of? The FTC's complaint zeroed in on how Disney used YouTube to distribute clips from its most child-friendly content, like Frozen, Toy Story, The Incredibles, Coco, and even classic Mickey Mouse cartoons. So rather than marking these uploads as made for kids, Disney allegedly relied on default channel level settings that categorize them as not made for kids. Now so obviously I've got a YouTube channel. Clearly you're watching this on YouTube. And if you are making something for children, you do actually have to label it for kids. Because it does a few things. Like it puts it in a specific area of YouTube. It does something to the comments. Also does something to the ad revenue as well. Changes quite a lot of the metrics of the video. Now obviously none of my content is made for children. Clearly none of my content is meant for kids. And so when Disney does that, it does seem really nefarious. Like they're trying to generate more revenue. They're trying to populate it on certain channels here and there. It seems, because I don't know, but it seems like they're trying to get around all of that in potentially nefarious, nefarious reasons. So the simple choice has obviously had big consequences. By mislabeling the videos, YouTube was able to track data, collect personal information, and also serve targeted adverts on children's content. And this is the thing. So under Children's Online Privacy Act, platforms and publishers must obtain verifiable parental consent before collecting data on kids under 13. And again, remember, YouTube changes the adverts when it's made just for kids. Like that, there's something that they do. But again, that main take home there is that because of privacy protection, COPA, they have to have parental consent before collecting data on kids. And as they say in this article, which I've left linked down below, this isn't a grey area of the law. COPA has been on the book since 1998. Yet according to regulators, Disney still failed to meet the basic requirements. By mid-2020, YouTube itself... So YouTube actually flagged more than 300 Disney videos as misclassified. And then Disney didn't bother to fix it. So they've got someone working there on the Disney YouTube channel. They would have been notified that their videos were misclassified. And they chose not to change them. It's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. So the settlement and its conditions, right? Disney has agreed to pay the $10 million penalty. But more importantly, it now has to change its practices going forward And to do that, the settlement requires Disney to notify parents and secure parental consent before collecting any data from children under 13. They have to individually review and label each video on YouTube to determine if it should be marked made for kids. Maintain a compliance program for the next 10 years unless YouTube itself rolls out a universal age assurance system, which I will say this, Disney will undoubtedly have say or some kind of sway over YouTube. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that Bob Iger knows people that work at YouTube, that help run things, and could put in a word to change something. But effectively, they're kind of strong-armed for 10 years unless that happens, which is mental. Now, the FTC chairman, Andrew N. Ferguson, made his criticism clear, said that the settlement was meant to penalise Disney's abuse of parents' trust and to reinforce that age assurance technology is the path forward for protecting children online. Disney's response, well, they tried to downplay it, obviously. The company has stressed that the issue was limited to third-party distribution on YouTube, did not involve Disney's own streaming platforms or apps. Doesn't really matter, but okay. In a public statement, Disney claimed it remains committed to the highest standards of compliance with children's privacy laws and pledged to continue investing in better tools to monitor its content. I mean, it's not just read your emails, mate, to be fair. You would have just got an email saying this was misclassified. Like, what bunch of dickheads. So, the FTC wasn't buying the nothing to see here defense. Regulators specifically wanted to send a message that even large, sophisticated companies cannot skirt COPPA by relying on broad default settings. Good for them. So this is the first FTC action against a YouTube content provider since 2019. The earlier case involved Google itself, which paid $170 million for the same type of violations. So this time the FTC targeted a content distributor, Disney, showing that enforcement is moving beyond platforms and extending to publishers. Even though YouTube is technically the publisher, they do act as the publisher. It shines a spotlight on Disney's corporate image. Disney is a company that aggressively markets itself as a family brand with content safe for children, yet this case shows that when profit meets compliance, Disney will, not may, they will cut corners at the expense of its youngest audience. So this is hilarious, and I love it, and I'm here for it. So, yeah, I mean, it's not like huge headline-grabbing report, but it's still funny. I mean, they basically, well, conned kids into giving over their data by mislabeling content and drawing them in. Bit sus, to be fair. Bit sus. So there you go. The saga of Disney continues. The Disney situation just gets worse and worse and worse. There you go. Cheers, guys. Bye now.